Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be covering Caulifla. This is a Xeno-locked blue aggro deck that just came out in FB08, and I think it has a high potential to be meta in the upcoming format. This deck seems really, really strong. If you're unfamiliar with this leader, essentially you, once per turn, can pay an energy, discard a card, and then bounce a guy on your field and play a U6 card of cost 1 less. So you have these 3 drops that count as 5 drops on the field, you play these, you bounce it with 1 energy, play the 4 drop Kale, play the 3 drop Caulifla with that Kale, and then you tag them into a double striker from drop. Ultimately, you get 5 swings off of this chain, one of which is a double striker, which is really, really strong. And you can do this on turn 3 with marker, or on turn 4 going first, so you get going really, really fast. Other than that, everything else in the deck is designed to just help us awaken and help us with consistency. We also are playing Thirst for Strength, which is a very powerful extra, basically just 20k draw a card offensively, which really helps with our hand dump and also with just pressuring our opponent's life. This deck was made with the help of Worst Duelist and my other friends. I think it's really strong. I think this is how the deck's going to be played competitively, just all U6. The cards are very good, but we'll see how it goes as the format develops. But yeah, this deck's pretty strong. Let's get into the games and see how the deck does. So our first game today is up against Burnhan, and this game is really going to showcase how effective this deck is when your opponent doesn't clear board. And you'll kind of see what I'm talking about as we go through the game. But we're going to start with a Fua here, just grabbing 10k out of our deck. We ideally want to try and find the chain pieces as fast as possible, right? So we need to find the 3 drop, the 4 drop, and the 5 drop. We have them all here though, so we're looking. Actually, no, we're missing the other 3 drop Caulifla. So I got to find that still. We're going to go for the Champa here, bottoming a 10k. Pretty good. We'll swing 20 crit at our opponent's lead, and we'll pass. So pretty slow start. This deck is really a Fusion World deck in the sense that you just kind of do nothing for 3 turns, and then once you awaken, you do your whole chain and start moving. There are a lot of decks like that in this game. We're going to charge up here, play the Kaba, and this deck's curve is super nice, especially going first, because you just answer everything on curve, and it feels amazing. You can see bottom deck a 1, bottom deck a 5 or less, and then you're awakened the turn after. It's pretty nice. Our opponent is going to go for double striker play here, playing the 4 into 3 into 2, but they really don't have lethal. I mean, I guess they could go for it, but it'd be incredibly risky, so they're kind of forced to just chip away our life here. I guess they could try and go for lethal here. I just think like with supers potentially in hand, it'd be kind of dire. But they're gonna go for just some pressure here, going 65 with the double striker. And we will go ahead and take that. They're probably just thinking they're going to bring us a 2 and kill us next turn, but we are trying to kill next turn. And you'll notice that our 5 drop is still on the field, and that's really good for us because it means we can do the entire chain for 1 energy. If your opponent doesn't clear board, this deck becomes so much scarier because now we have energy open on top of our chain that we can use for Thirst for Strength. So this is going to get crazy here, as you'll see in a second. We're going to go ahead and bounce that 5 drop pitching a card, play out the Kale, and Kale will play out Caulifla. Then we can go 35, bump it to 40. Our opponent will take that. Now we just gotta get him down to 2 life, and we should be good to go. Gonna go 20, buff to 40 with Thirst for Strength. That card is so broken. Like, just being able to go 40 with spending 0 cards is so great. I love that card. Gonna go ahead and place the Caulifla and Kale on drop to grab the Double Striker. Double Striker will get us back. There's no 10k on our drop, so we just grab a Fua. Oh yeah, we can just swing with the Fua. That's really silly. Playing the Fua, swing with it. Thirsting gets 25, then calming to 50. Our opponent takes that, and now we have a pretty easy hand dump on the Caulifla. And yeah, we get there on turn 4 against Burnhan. Pretty crazy. But yeah, that is the ideal curve of the deck, like perfect curve. These other games will kind of showcase some deviations from that and what happens when the deck gets pressured a little bit. So our next game today is up against Goku GT, and this is a really good deck in this format. I got a lot of cool stuff from Goku Jr., and it's looking pretty strong. I'm definitely going to make a video on this at some point. But yeah, we're up against Goku GT here, starting with the Fua. Unfortunately, don't find any chain pieces, so we are a bit behind right now, but hopefully we can get there. Going to go 20 crit at our opponent's face. They're going to swing back at us. And unfortunately, we are going to see the Glorio here, which is always sad. But we really can't spend marker before turn 3 on this deck because our turn 3 play is just so ridiculous. We're going to go 20k crit at lead. And we don't go for the Champa here because I just want to try and find chain pieces. And we do find 1, which is nice. Our opponent's up next. They're going to swing. And they are going to play the Goku GT here, the new one. Going for Jiru first. But yeah, 3 drop, 30k, 5 cost. Pretty strong. They can't attack though, which is nice. And luckily we do have a pretty good out in the form of Kaba, which can just bottom deck that Goku. We'll go ahead and go 20 crit. Our opponent will combo out. Unfortunately, we're not awakened this turn, so we can't go for the double striker play on this turn, which is sad. Typically, you do want to be awakening on that turn because it's just so strong to do 5 swings on turn 3, but we just don't have the life for it, unfortunately. Our opponent goes for the new Bardock. We're going to buff to 20 and then swing 35 at lead. We have to combo out of one of these swings because we need to keep a life for the Kaba. The Kaba is a mandatory life take. But it does bottom deck a 5, so definitely super worth here. And we probably can't kill next turn, right? Because our opponent's at 6 life. We only have like 5 swings. We could like theoretically get there, but it's insanely unlikely. So we're just going to pressure once and hunker down for the turn and swing a board. Gonna go for the Kale here. Kale's gonna bring out the Caulifla, and we'll swing into their Glorio, hoping they combo out here to waste cards, but they do not, unfortunately. We'll go ahead and tag out into a double striker. Going double striker here instead of the 10k because I want to apply pressure next turn, right? I feel like if we had the 25k on the field, it just wouldn't be very threatening. And they're playing black, right? So they can't remove the double striker. It'll just sit there the rest of the game, which I think is going to be sufficient. But yeah, they go for the Bardock. They swing 20 at lead. Unfortunately, we can't really out the Bardock anymore. Our removal is tied to life takes, and we are at 1 life. So we're kind of cooked in that regard. I hope they go down to 4 here so we can try and pressure lethal. Unfortunately, they do not. They stay at 5. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, maybe we just try and hunker down for 1 more turn. I have a super in hand. It's kind of dire, and maybe I should have gone for lethal here, but it just felt so bad. Oh, I see what the problem is, actually. We didn't have the chain, right? Because we didn't have the 3-drop Caulifla, so we kind of had to do that play there. We just grabbed 10Ks off the top with the 10K Caulifla and hope it's enough. Our opponent goes for a pan here. They're kind of bricked, it looks like. They go for a pretty passive play, like not a bunch of Chi-Chis or anything, so that's pretty good for us. They're going to go for the Trunks here just to get a marker. For the Bardock, yeah, that's pretty bad for us. They go bump to 35 and go 45 at lead. We're going to super and 10k out. They'll go 35 again, bump to 40. We'll combo out yet again. And I have a feeling if they hand up here, they would have killed us. But I think they just like thought we had too much combo. We had 2 10Ks on board, and if we had a super in hand, we'd have had actually a lot. We had all zeros, though. And the thing with Thirst for Strength is that it does kind of brick us, right? Like, when you need to play these defensive games, having these zeros in hand is really bad. So I think you could argue that you could go down to 2 or 3 of that card. But it's just so strong. Like, 20k on swings is so ridiculous that it feels bad to play it at anything less than 4. But yeah, we're just going to go for this play here, baiting out the combo from hand and then just go for the chain. And this is more than enough for lethal. But yeah, end up taking it against Goku GT. One last game against Broly coming up. Final game of the day here is up against Yellow Broly. We're going to start with Thomas Booing. That's what we want to see. Our opponent will draw. I think Yellow Broly is pretty mid. It seems like it does a whole lot of nothing. It seems like a pretty slow deck. But it is pretty impressive when it gets to the late game. So I guess we'll see if this deck is able to survive into the late game in this format. I feel like there's a lot of aggro running around. We're going to go 20 crits. Managed to hit a 6-drop Broly, which is super nice. And we'll play another Thomas Booing to grab his super. Our opponent's up next. They're going to go 15 at lead. And it's Broly, so they're not doing anything until turn 4. And they're just going to play Kakarot's and pass. Then again, I mean, so do we. We kind of wait till turn 4 to start playing as well. So pretty evenly matched in that respect. We're going to go for the Kaba here just because we have nothing better to do. And it is really annoying having the Kaba on the field because Broly really cannot out that card. And this is going to make our turn 4 even stronger, keeping it on the field. Our opponent will go 15. We'll block out. And they'll play a Vio Broly and pass. Love to see it. We're up next. We do have the Kaba, which we can bounce back to hand to out that Vio Broly, which is nice. Going to bounce that. Pitching a card. And I really don't know if this style of play where we're really aggressive with the Kabas is correct into a deck like Broly. I kind of go for it because I just like removing stuff, but going to 2 against Broly is a bit scary. I don't know. I guess you could make the argument either way, but I'm going to go 35 at lead here and force the Awaken by swinging with the Kaba. Broly's getting really angry. We'll tag out into the Caulifla, or the Kefla. I don't know these characters' names. I haven't watched Super. Kefla. I've been calling this card Caulifla the entire video. Oh my god. That's Kefla. Our opponent is playing before cost Broly. Switching energy back, and going to play the Paragus here to do the really annoying play. We're going to go ahead and save the Kaba here. My thought process is just like, okay, if they don't have the Paragus, we can out the 4-drop, but they do have the Paragus. So a bit greedy there. Probably could have just let the Kaba die. Whatever. They're going Hyper Beam here, locking down that Kaba, and they're going to pass. We'll charge up, go for the 40k KO just for pressure. Bump to 45. Our opponent will super out. And yeah, the tapping is a bit rough, like the Floodgate. But luckily, because we play the chain like this, we can kind of play around the Broly Floodgate by just tapping our chain pieces, which is pretty nice. We're going to go 45 here, trying to get them in double striker range. Doesn't quite work, but I think we're in a pretty good position here. Going to tag out into the 5-drop. Caulifla, getting back 2 cards. Our opponent goes for the Broly here. Fortunately for us, they whiff on the 6-drop, which is absolutely huge. So now their Floodgate is not live. We still probably could have pushed through the Floodgate. We would have had to stick with it a bit differently. But now we can kind of just go wide and swing at face. They're going to go 25 at lead. Not opting for the hand dump. I guess just thinking we probably have too much combo in hand. Little did they know we were breaking on these thirsts for strength. So that's nice. But they're going to come in clutch here. We're going to pitch a card, bounce the 5-drop, and play a Kale. And play the Caulifla. Go 35 at lead, bump to 55 with their strength. And that is going to get some 10Ks out of their hand. So now we're looking pretty good. Still have another thirst to keep applying pressure. We're going to play it again. Bump to 40. And had they not, had they had the Floodgate up that turn, we could have done the same play, but just gone 60 with 1 swing instead of 40 with 2 swings. So it would have probably worked out either way. I guess, yeah, I don't know what we would have tapped for this swing. I guess we could have just tapped the Fua. So it probably would have still worked out. Would have been a bit different. They would have definitely had a lot less combo, but our hand up is still pretty strong here. So I think we had a pretty good shot of winning through the Floodgate. But yeah, ended up beating Broly, and that was Caulifla, or Caulifla. I don't know what this character's name is. I really it's the title of the video. Whoever we're playing, that was how she did. It was pretty good. So yeah, that is Caulifla. The next team is really strong. Swinging 5 swings every single turn from turn 3 onward is incredible, and all the cards are good. Like, for being a Xeno-locked archetype, the card quality is really high in this deck. All the 10Ks are just good cards with utility. The 5Ks and below are just like actually good cards. It's kind of crazy because I feel like a lot of times in Fusion World, when they build these set-locked decks, they end up being really mid with all the pack filler. But I feel like with this deck, they really knocked it out of the park. Every single card is really high quality, and that definitely helps the deck feel a lot more well-rounded, even though it's not playing any outside cards. The deck does have some weaknesses, though. I think a big one is that it is extremely telegraphed. Obviously, your curve is super tight. You're playing the 1-drop, the 2-drop, the 3-drop, and then the chain every other turn. So your opponent will know what you're doing, pretty much down to just every card you're going to play the entire game. But the engine is so strong that you can actually push through that kind of perfect knowledge, which is nice. Another thing is that the deck needs to find its chain to do anything, and it is pretty consistent, but if you don't find that chain, things get really rough. It's not like Cell where you can still function without it. If this deck doesn't find the chain, you are literally doing nothing. So it is a very piece-reliant deck, and I feel like a lot of times it's going to come down to if you see the pieces multiple times over the course of the game, and how many supers you see for defense. So it is going to be a deck that is not exactly high roll, but it is going to depend a lot on what you draw as to whether you can play the game effectively. But yeah, I think the deck is good. I think it's going to be a pretty solid meta contender. We'll see if this version of the list is how the deck is played in the future as the format progresses. Please let me know if you have any advice for the deck, or if you have some tech you think might be interesting. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.